I wanted to listen to some piano music the other day, and I ended up going down the YouTube rabbit hole of piano child prodigies. And man, oh man, I was just blown away by these kids and their ability to understand and play music. So I thought it'd be a great idea to take a listen to some of these great prodigies together. The first prodigy we'll take a look at is Alma Deutscher, and I'll tell you more about her after we take a listen. Okay, beautiful playing so far, lots of control, lots of really good dynamics here, dynamic contrast. Now, I have a question for you. Is this piece written by Bach? Is this piece written by Beethoven? Is it written by Ravel? Or is it written by a mystery composer? So think about what those composers might sound like as we listen to the rest of Alma play. I want you to notice the long, beautiful melodies. Does it sound like Bach, Beethoven, Ravel, or the mystery composer? Oh, we're back to that first theme again. Do you hear that? Beautiful, beautiful playing. Now, as you were listening, I mentioned that there were these long, beautiful melodies that you could hear her playing, which you wouldn't really find indicative of Bach, because Bach has really more, I don't want to call it robotic, but very exact type of timings. And it doesn't have these long, beautiful melodies. That's something you would find more in the Romantic period. It does sound a bit like Ravel. Ravel has a lot of these very flowery type of harmonics, harmonies, and things like that in the piece. And these longer, more romantic type of melodies. So you might think Ravel, but it's not Ravel. It's actually the mystery composer, because Alma wrote this herself. In fact, she didn't write it beforehand. She improvised it on the spot, and here's how she did it.
So in this act, I have notes, and I'd like you to help me by choosing a few notes for me, and then I'll try and improvise a little something based on them.
So they're picking 4 notes out of a hat for her. And notice she sings the note, because that kind of comes into play here. She has perfect pitch. She had the exact note without even playing the piano first.
Thank you. Me.
She said me. Interesting. I wonder if one was going to be fa or sol. Oh, fa. There's fa. How did I know that?
Okay, so last one now. Thank you. Mi bemol.
I'm not sure exactly what she said there, but if you notice, she's saying like do, re, mi and types of things like that. If you don't know, do, re, mi is known as like the solfege system, where you associate each note of the scale with a certain syllable. And it's really helpful with singing because it helps you remember that G is always so, and then fa would be F. So it kind of helps singers associate different notes with different syllables. Obviously, I could get in a lot more detail about it, but I'll save that for a future lesson.
Alright, so I'll just need a minute to think about the notes. They look quite challenging, so it'll be fun.
Okay, and then she uses those 4 notes to play those 4 notes. Remember I said in the beginning? And you'll hear the first melody that comes in uses those first 4 notes, right? Da, 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 da. Beautiful. So if you want to know more about Alma, she's nearly 20 years old, so she's a former child prodigy. She is a British composer, pianist, violinist, and conductor, all those things you would associate with children, right? Deutscher composed her first piano sonata at the age of 5, and then at 7, she completed the short opera, The Sweeper of Dreams, as we all have at 7 years old, and later wrote a violin concerto at the age of 9. She began playing at the age of 2, which that just blows me away. Like, how do you even begin playing at the age of 2? Anyways, let me continue. Followed by violin at 3, of course. Her strong affinity to music was apparently from an early age. She could sing in perfect pitch, which we saw in the beginning of that recording because the person gave her that note. She sung the note and then played that exact note on the piano. That's called perfect pitch. And she could sing in perfect pitch before she could speak. And she could read music before she could read words, which is more common than you would think, especially with people with perfect pitch. It's just something they innately have right from the beginning. And if you want to listen to this piece for yourself, I'll include a link in the description. Our next prodigy is Alexander Malofeev. I'll tell you all about him after we listen to his performance. The intensity on his face already. It's like he feels every single note. You see this very common with very high level players. Unbelievable. Notice that theme, bum ba dum bum 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 bum. That's what he came in with originally. And just pay attention when you listen to music. Start thinking of like the theme that comes in at the beginning and how the composer will reuse that theme over and over. You'll see it in a lot of composers. Let's continue, but amazing playing so far. Da, da, ba, da, 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 da. Also, just we're gonna listen to a little bit more of this. Pay attention to his body language and how much he feels every expression, every note. It definitely is tied to the way he's playing and why he's so good. It's just incredible. Oh man, what do I even say? The combined like chromatic runs. Da, 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 da. Anytime you hear that, that's what's called a chromatic run on the piano. See, already it sounds pretty familiar, but to be able to do that in time with the music characteristics, it's like, and with the age that this guy is, which I'll talk about in a second, it's just mind blowing. And it never stops. Absolutely incredible. Wow. His ability to play is just unmatched, at least from what I've seen. You notice how he really has that expression. It almost looks like a contorted look on his face, but he is feeling each and every note. Let me tell you a little bit more about Alexander and the piece that he played. Alexander began studying piano at the age of 5. By the age of 7, he became interested in the music of Tchaikovsky, Shostakovich, Mahler, Rachmaninoff, and Prokofiev, like we all do at 7 years old. In 2014, Malofeev graduated with honors in the N.P. Osipov Children's Music School. Excuse me if I mispronounce anything. He continued his studies with Elena Berezkina at the Nessun State Musical College in Moscow, graduating in 2019. So what is this piece? This piece is Etude number 11 in A minor by Chopin, Opus 25. Composed in 1836, this piece is also known as Winter Wind, which was given to it later because of how it sounds. You notice when Alexander was playing, there were sudden bursts of intensity in dynamics, and that sudden burst in quick change is really indicative of the wind. The next prodigy's name is Ulissi Meisen, and I'm going to tell you more about him after we watch him play. Oh, this is him. He's like a little Beethoven. I should make fun of him, and you'll see why in a second. So you can see for how young he is, he's quite good. He's already really nailing down those exact types of rhythms that you would find in a Mozart concerto, like the one we're listening to now. And it's just amazing what he's able to do. Let's continue listening. That control with those staccatos is not easy. He already nails down those ornamentations as well, like trills, da 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 da, those types of things. Doing an excellent job, especially with those smaller hands. And this part is more difficult than it is ba bum ba bum ba, because each of those has an articulation on it, short long, and he's just nailing it while doing this like Alberti bass da 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 in the left hand. It's just, I'm trying to explain to you how amazing this kid is. I'm also impressed at his ability to follow the orchestra and the conductor, because honestly, in my early 20s, I had trouble doing this. So it's amazing that he's just able to do it. Nice trills, buddy. Nice bringing out that bass line. Love it. He's feeling it. Yes, crescendo. Beautiful control over the notes. This is not as easy as it... Well, maybe it doesn't look easy. I don't know. arpeggio with the left hand there, and then plays a chord. Oh, what is that? Chromatic. He's so cute. Yeah. That was just incredible. Obviously, this guy is very young when he's playing this. This was 3 years ago, it looks like. Maybe not as impressive as Alexander, but his ability to perform and play the notes competently is mind-blowing for where this kid is. I mean, I'd have to practice for that piece for a few months to be able to do anywhere close to that. So, amazing work. Let me tell you more about this performer and the piece that he played. Ulissi was born in 2010 and is a Russian pianist, composer, child prodigy, and actor, like we all are at that age. He studies at the Central Music School at the Moscow State Conservatory in the class of Professor Natalia Trull and Daniil Suvetkov, sorry, I'm not used to pronouncing Russian, and has also played with the Russian National Orchestra and Youth Symphony. The piece he's playing is the Mozart Concerto No. 3. It was written in 1767 by Mozart. It was composed during Mozart's time in Vienna, so it has a lot of the style, what they call the galant style, which is actually a very simplistic style with repetitive phrases. If you go back and listen to that, again, you'll hear the same types of melodies being repeated again and again. And that's why I told you with the last piece we listened to listen to themes that come in throughout, like, are introduced in the piece and come up later. So this is just a simplified kind of style of that. Galant style has elegant and simple phrasing is what I'm trying to say. And if you don't know, a phrase is just like a complete musical idea. So like if you have the melody coming in for Für Elise, that's the phrase. The next prodigy we're going to be talking about is named Agafia Korzun, and let's take a look at what she has to play for us. You'll see this one's a little different. Her ability to make those runs up and down the piano just blows me away. And she's so small and young. It's just, it's mind-blowing. Because at that age, I'll talk about it here at the end. Let's continue. What time period do you think this piece is from? I'm really enjoying this because I don't hear this type of music all the time. Oh, nice change of character to the piece. Incredible. Her ability to perform along with the orchestra is insanely good too. Wow. Oh, I love this piece. Yes. Again, the first theme is coming back. That's one thing I want you to learn from this video. It's that. I love the percussion in the background too. Wow. Wow, what an amazing performance at such a young age, too. I think she's about 7 years old here. So that experience to be able to play with the orchestra and being able to do it so well must be so interesting to a young child, because it's very interesting even as an adult. It's definitely an experience that a lot of people don't get to have. Agafia started studying music at the age of 3, and by the age of 5, she recorded her first album, as we all do at the age of 5. And I promise I'll stop telling that joke. And by the age of 6... get this, she recorded a children's album by Prokofiev and played the second and third parts of the same concert, as we all do as kids. So the piece she's playing is Alexander Fastman's Snowflakes, and it was written in 1945, and you can tell right away because it sounds a little bit more ragtime with some jazz influences in it. It's not so like precise and exact like that Mozart we had just heard before. We have one more prodigy to go, and then after that I'm going to share with some final thoughts that are really going to tie this all together, and then I have a special tip at the very end for you. But let's talk about our final prodigy here, which is William Zhang, who is actually from the United States and not from Russia like a lot of the other performers that we've listened to so far. Finally, a piece I've played before. Very good so far. This piece requires a lot of control because you have a lot of scale runs. You have a lot of, I wouldn't call them counter melodies, but like counter ideas happening with the left hand, where it has like kind of different articulations than what's going on with the right hand. So he's doing a great job so far. He's better than me at this part. Nice trill. One thing you'll also hear is you'll hear in music they'll play a pattern and then they'll repeat the exact same pattern in minor, which we just saw here. Let's hear it. See, now it's the same thing, but it's darker. He's really enjoying it too. I love it. I love how he's just having such a great time. Obviously, he did an amazing job. This piece requires a lot of control, and he did extremely well with it. He wasn't performing with a group, but I felt like he still did really good. He had a lot of fun with it, and he's super young. I think he's about 7 years old here. Let me tell you more about this performer and the piece that he played, and then remember at the end I actually have some insights that's going to kind of tie the lesson all together. But William Zhang is an emerging young pianist and composer from the United States, and he was born in Northside Hospital in Atlanta in 2012. At age 6, he won first place and the first winner of Judges Distinction Award across all age groups. I assume in piano, it doesn't say. William made his successful Carnegie Hall debut in 2019 as one of the youngest pianists at age 7, as we all do at 7 years old. Fun fact, my teacher, R.I.P. Vincent Craig, he eventually performed at Carnegie Hall, but he was like in his 40s by the time he did it, so that's something to keep in mind. It was written by Mozart in 1788, and this piece opens with an Alberti bass with a very recognizable melody in the right hand. There are many scale runs in this piece, as well as graduated dynamics. Graduated are like not sudden dynamics like this. They are, you know, with your crescendos and decrescendos. So they're more like this. We're starting soft and you're gradually getting louder. And by doing this, the scale runs along with the dynamics. It's a very good piece for developing like finger dexterity, but your overall technique on piano. And that's why a lot of teachers will make students play Bach and Mozart to start out, because those pieces really work the technique. Okay, so I want to wrap up this video with some personal thoughts, and then like I said, I have a tip at the end that you're going to want to stick around for. So my question, first of all, I'm blown away. You know, you look at these kids perform, and some people, I've heard comments before like, oh, this makes me just feel like giving up, or, you know, this makes me feel like quitting because I'll never be that good. And I just want to give some life advice here to the people that that have that sentiment. And the life advice is that comparison is the thief of joy. And it's very true. Like, don't compare yourself to others. Remember that whether it's piano or whatever you're trying to succeed in, your journey, or you're trying to lose weight or anything, it's your journey, right? You're not going to get anywhere comparing yourself to other people. It's really one day at a time, trying to be 1% better than you were before. And by comparing yourself to these people that are unusually talented, I think you're just going to set yourself up for frustration and failure. Personally, I would not want to be one of these child prodigies, because you have to imagine that there's probably a lot of expectations and pressure placed on them at an early age. Now, I don't know what goes on in their private lives, or how their parents treat them, or how they got so good. But what I'm saying is, regardless, even if they love it and they're just naturally talented, that immediately puts so much pressure on somebody so young. And I'm just not sure, at least that would be good for me growing up. But that's my personal opinion on it. What is your personal opinion on it? Would you want to be a child prodigy? What are your thoughts of comparison is the thief of joy? I would love to hear what your own personal experiences are down below. What's a time where you compared yourself to somebody else and it actually held you back? I really, really want to know what you think. Final tip, this channel is all about teaching you about the instrument that you love, which is piano. And if you want to learn how to play piano for real, check out this video right here. It's how to learn piano as fast as humanly possible. It's been your piano teacher, Tim, here, and I'll see you next time.